guys, hey, welcome to Mondays with Marc. I'm Marc, and this is Smokey, Steve, and Marc. Of course it is. Welcome back. It's great to see you, and welcome to another Time Warp. Oh, yes, I love these. These are so much fun, and today we're going to go all the way back to the fabulous 80s. I couldn't be more excited. Admittedly, the 80s, well, it's my favorite decade. It really, really was. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, right? Now, in order to get back to the 80s, we are going to need, oh yes, our magic remote control. And we're going to have recipes and interesting facts and all kinds of fun. So let's not take up any more time. Let's head back to the fabulous 80s. Are you ready? Do you have your leg warmers on? How about those big shoulder pads? You ready? Ready to go? All right, here we go. Rewind. Oh yes, I remember this. This is so cool.
Read my lips.
Oh, the 80s, yes! Oh man, the 80s were a decade of big hair and even bigger shoulder pads. It has been called the decade of decadence, but the decade was more than just excess. It was a period that was defined by events that still resonate today. We saw the beginning of the fall of the Soviet Union, AIDS emerged as a deadly epidemic, and work began on a little thing called the internet. And pop culture, oh, no other decade contributed to pop culture like the 80s. We saw the debut of MTV, music television, and things would never be the same, y'all. I mean, artists, and they couldn't release a song or an album without having a video to go along with it. And we saw Tina Turner make an amazing comeback, and there was Duran Duran, Flock of Seagulls. Oh, we were all chameleons because of Culture Club. And Cyndi Lauper, well, she made it okay for girls to have fun. There was Bruce Springsteen and Prince. He had us partying like it was 1999, and every day was a holiday thanks to Madonna. You know I love me some Madonna. And the 80s were also all about some pretty bodacious cuisine. I mean, in kids' lunch bags, you saw Lunchables and fruit roll-ups, while the parents at home, well, they were whipping up dips in bread bowls and apricot chicken for dinner. And our teens, well, we could find them down at the local mall with some chicken McNuggets and an orange Julius. You know, the 80s were all about convenient packaging and snazzy branding and fun, although artificial flavorings. Snacks were just loaded with sugar, and salads, they were drenched with ranch dressing. Love me some ranch dressing too. And you know what? We just happen to have a really radical recipe to do today. And like other recipes from the 80s, the origins of this dish, well, you know, that was many, many years before the 80s. And then it became popular in the 80s. We're going to whip up some stroganoff, but not just any stroganoff. I mean, beef stroganoff itself, well, it originated in 19th century Russia. And it made its way over to American high school cafeterias in the 70s and the 80s. Then, with all the attention kind of being focused on recreating favorite comfort recipes, sometimes with a little twist, well, that's where our recipe was born. Today, we're gonna make some chicken stroganoff vol au vent. Come on, let's go! Oh, yes, we are in the kitchen, and I'm really, like, totally excited about doing this recipe with you. Y'all, this one, it's fun to make, it's really good, became very popular in the 80s. We're gonna make a giant chicken stroganoff vol au vent, y'all. Vol-au-vent, what the heck is that anyway? Well, a vol-au-vent is a small, hollow case of puff pastry, and it's made by cutting rings out of puff pastry and then stacking them and then baking them. And yes, they were extremely popular in the 80s, most oftentimes filled with egg mayonnaise, mushroom cream, anything savory really, chicken, beef, prawns, pretty much anything. And in the 80s, it was all about the individual serving. Yep. But today, we are going to make a giant vol-au-vent, and ours is going to be filled with a creamy and delicious chicken stroganoff. You know what? I think we're going to start with that pastry shell. So for that, you're going to need 6 sheets of frozen puff pastry, and they usually come 2 in a package, so you'll need 3 packages. Now the first thing we're going to do is allow our puff pastry to thaw out, and then we're going to remove them from the box, and then we're going to unfold them onto a cutting board, which we have covered with flour, just so they don't stick there, okay? And then we're going to be cutting circles out of these, so we need a guide of some sort. So using the bottom of a springform pan, that's what I used, or you could use a dinner plate. We're going to place that on top of our dough, and using a chef knife or even a utility knife, we're just going to cut all around that so we have a circle. Now that first circle there, we're just going to pick that up and move that to a baking pan, which we have lined with parchment paper. And then for our second one, same thing, unfold it onto a cutting board that has flour on it, and we're going to cut our circle out there, and we're looking for about a 9.5 inch circle, okay? But this time, we're going to place a smaller guide in the center of that circle, maybe a smaller dinner plate, and then we're going to trace around that and cut it so we have a ring of puff pastry. Oh, isn't it cool? I know, right? Okay, so now we're just going to kind of, move that scrap dough to the side there, and then we're going to take that first one that we made, the flat round one, and we're going to brush the edge of that with a beaten up egg. Okay, a whisked up egg. Okay, and then we're going to take our ring and we're going to place that right on top of there. And then repeat, 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 repeat with the rest of our pastry sheets, making 5 rings, which we stacked up. And then, oh yeah, we have this. And that's what it looks like. It's a total of 6 layers. 5 of them are just rings, and the bottom is that flat round one that I talked about. And then I just brush the top with that beaten egg there. Just like that, so it's nice and shiny. And now we bake in a preheated 425-degree oven until it's puffed and golden brown, and that'll be about 15 minutes, okay? So, you know what? Let me get this in the oven, and I think we better make some chicken stroganoff, right? Because we need it to put inside of our pastry shell here, right? So let's take a look at those ingredients. So in my pan here, I have, I melted 2 tablespoons of butter, and I have 8 ounces of sliced white mushrooms, and 1/2 of an onion, which we chopped all up there, and we're going to let that continue to saute until those onions start to soften up, and that'll be about 5 to 6 minutes. Now, as far as the rest of our ingredients go, over here we have 1.5 cups of chicken broth, and then for our seasonings, we have 1/2 teaspoon of salt and pepper, we have 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of fresh chopped up parsley, and then in front there, that's a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and then we have some white wine there for deglazing. Get yourself about 1/2 cup of that. Back there, the sour cream, again, we have 1/2 cup of sour cream, and then we have 4 cups of cooked egg noodles there, and we have some flour, and we have 1.5 pounds of boneless chicken breast, which we chopped all up. You could do strips, you could do chunks, whatever you'd like. And what we're going to do to that is add our flour. Let's see here. That's about 2 tablespoons. Yeah, we'll do about 2 tablespoons of flour in there. And we're going to stir that all up until our chicken is all coated. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, now we're going to come over here to our pan and take, oh yeah, we are, okay, these are good to go there. Our mushrooms started to reduce down a little bit and get nice and glossy, and our onions are starting to become nice and tender and translucent. So let's add our chicken, oh yes. And in addition to that, we're going to add our seasonings, our salt, pepper, garlic, and parsley. And then we are just going to let our chicken cook here, giving that a stir every so often until our chicken is cooked all the way through and our vegetables are nice and soft. That'll be another 5 to 6 minutes. Okay, looks like we are all ready to go. Yes, we are. All right, so now at this point, we are going to add our Worcestershire sauce. And then we're going to add our white wine. We're going to add that all at once, and we're going to kind of deglaze the bottom of the pan there. We're going to like scrape up all those yummy little bits at the bottom, okay? And so now we're going to take our chicken broth and we're going to add, about a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of flour to it. And we're going to whisk that all in there until it's nice and combined and there's no lumps. Just like that. Yeah, perfect. And then we're going to add that to our chicken mixture here. There we go. And then we're just going to let that cook and continue to stir that pretty frequently, you know, until it comes to a boil and it starts to thicken up. And that could be, 5 to 8 minutes or so. Let's check our pastry, y'all. Yeah. Oh, nice. Look at that. All right, so first fail of this recipe. I forgot to poke the bottom, like with a fork or something before we baked it. Look, it all poofed up. We don't want that in this, but it's okay. We're just gonna push that down because we'll be putting stuff in there. So, you know, you wanna, like, I made another little one with the scrap a dough that was left over, and you just want to make sure that, you know, you prick that bottom just like that to keep it from poofing up just like that. All right, so at this point we're gonna turn our heat off and we're gonna stir in our sour cream. Go there. Get that all nice and stirred in there. And this next ingredient, I didn't mention it at the beginning because it's totally optional. Some people like it, some people don't. I always grew up with having it in my stroganoff, and that's 1 tablespoon of Dijon mustard. Like I said, you can omit this if you'd like, but I do think it adds wonderful flavor to it. So let's get that stirred in there. All right, and now we taste for seasonings here. And we are good, but at this point you could add salt, pepper, more garlic if you'd like, but we are good. And finally, let's add our noodles. And you know me, I usually do half at a time just because, I don't know, it probably will take all 4 cups, but I don't like it to be, you know, crazy noodly, you know. Normally stroganoff is served over noodles, you know, and we're making this like with the noodles in it. See, like I think that is plenty. That's my opinion. If you like more noodles, put them all in. I used about 1.5 cups. I used about 2.5 cups of noodles in this, and I do think it's enough. I do. Okay. All right. Next. Oh yes. Let's assemble. Right, so to assemble, I think you could probably guess it, we're going to put our chicken stroganoff right inside of our pastry shell. And look, see, I just pressed that down just like that, the poofed part, you know? Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I forgot to do that. All right, and now we're just going to fill the center of this up with our stroganoff. Ooh. Hey, oh, look at that. And then we're just gonna finish her off with maybe some chopped fresh parsley or maybe a parsley sprig. Should have one here somewhere. Here's a good one. Put that right on top. Oh, now that's art there. Oh my, there you have it. Oh, our giant chicken stroganoff. Voila. Ah! Yeah, doesn't it look good? This is that smaller one I made, the little, more of, I guess it's a little bigger than a personal size, but smaller than the original one we made together. But doesn't it just look, what a presentation, right? It's really, really good. And the recipe that we made today, it will serve 4. You're supposed to cut it in 4 pieces. But I tell you, I had enough where I made that one and this one. So you probably could go up to a 10-inch shell if you wanted to, you know, or you absolutely could get all those little, like, they sell the individual puff pastry like cups. They sell those frozen, you could use those and do all individual portions as well. So, but, oh, what? This was so good. We ate it for dinner last night. We made this yesterday and had it for dinner last night. It was so good. Which is why I don't have the big one to show you. Serves 4, right. And, and the 80s? Well, the 80s also had its share of, well, shall we say, spooky or creepy things to it too, especially if you were a kid. Ready to get the shivers? The #1 rule of 80s kids movies and TV shows was scare kids for life. May we present our list of terrifyingly screwed up things that all 80s kids experienced. Ooh. Okay, first up, how about having their Teddy Ruxpin slowly run out of batteries and begin speaking in a demonic voice? Or when Large Marge revealed herself in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And then there's the suspenseful scene where Billy's mom first discovered the transformed mugwalls in Gremlins. I mean, it felt just like something out of an adult horror movie. Oh, I loved the Gremlins. Yes, it did kind of scar me too. And then there's being caught off guard when the creepy Mr. Boogedy aired as part of the Disney Sunday movie. Whoa. And then there's being scared that your My Buddy doll was going to come to life after watching the commercials for Child's Play. Oh, and how about going to see Return to Oz and expecting to see a family-friendly musical like The Wizard of Oz, but instead being treated to scene after scene of twisted characters and situations? Again, totally terrifying. Although, I mean, who doesn't love a little Fairuza Balk? How about the 2-part The Perils of Punky Brewster Halloween episode that basically had all of Punky's friends die weird deaths, and she was attacked by a giant spider? Garbage Pail Kids. I mean, need we say more? Like, really? And then there's the moment when Michael Jackson turned around at the end of the music video for Thriller and revealed he had yellow eyes. Ooh, I just knew he was going to attack and just eat his girlfriend up. I just knew it. What a fantastic video, huh? And finally, accidentally catching the intro to Unsolved Mysteries and almost peeing your pants because of the theme song. Well, and because of Robert Stack, too. Well, there you have it. Some terrifyingly screwed up things all us 80 kids experienced and are kind of still dealing with today, you know. Ooh, ooh. Oh, so we are back in the kitchen, and why? Because we need something sweet, of course. We need a totally rad dessert from the 80s. And this recipe, like most dessert recipes from the 80s, got their origin many years ago, but only became really famous in the 80s, much like Baked Alaska, right? Oh, I remember getting Baked Alaska with my grandma in the 80s. So good. But today, this recipe, oh yes, we are gonna make some yummy tiramisu. Oh, tiramisu, oh, that classic Italian dessert. Now, historical records state that tiramisu was actually founded in the town of Treviso in Italy in the 1800s. It was created by a clever madam of a house of pleasure in the center of town. Now, it would seem to be that this would be the true origins of tiramisu, a natural Viagra served to customers in a brothel. Now, the word tiramisu literally translates to pick me up, which kind of goes along with this theme too. And in fact, in the center of Treviso, an old inn of the period actually added this dessert to its menu, and it's still there today, although the inn is called by a different name today too. Now, over the centuries, a veil of popular prudery hid the actual origins of tiramisu. In fact, it wasn't even until the 1980s that it appeared in books, and that's when it became extremely popular. And as often what happens in legends, there are elements of truth. And what we do know is that tiramisu originated in the town of Treviso, Italy in the 1800s. Most people that I talk to who make this or who want to make this dessert are a little intimidated by it. They feel like it's really hard to make or something, and it is not. It's fun and very easy to make. You can whip this up in 20 minutes and you are good to go. And this recipe also, no raw eggs in it. Yes, and we are not using liquor in this recipe either. Now, if you would like to add liquor to a traditional tiramisu, it does have liquor in it. You would just add 3 tablespoons of your favorite liquor to our recipe today, and that would be Kahlua or sherry or brandy. And remember, 3 tablespoons. Okay. So let's get started on this yummy dessert. Here are our ingredients. So, starting over here, we have 1½ cups of strong coffee or espresso, 1½ teaspoons of vanilla, 8 ounces of mascarpone cheese, and that's at room temperature, 1/3 cup of sugar, and then we need some lady fingers, and you will be good with 1 package. Now, over here in my stand mixer here, I have 1½ cups of heavy cream, and we're going to start beating that on medium speed until it just starts to thicken a little bit. All right, so it's just starting to thicken a little bit, and we're going to add our vanilla all at once, and then we're going to turn our mixer back on, and we're going to slowly add our sugar while it's mixing. And okay, that's it. All right, now we're gonna pump this baby up a notch, and then we're gonna let it whip until it reaches stiff peaks. Oh, we are at stiff peak stage. Oh yes. Okay. All right. So now we're just gonna let this sit here for 1 second, and now we're gonna take our mascarpone cheese and add that to a bowl there, and then we're just going to kind of whisk it a little bit, just add some air into there, just incorporate a little bit of air and like kind of get rid of some lumps. And now we are going to add this to our whipped cream. Yes, just add it all at once, and now we're just going to fold that in there until the cheese is nice and incorporated in with our whipped cream. Okay. Nice. No lumps. It's all incorporated. All right. So now for the fun part. Ooh, we're gonna be dipping. All right. So I have my espresso here ready to go. And at this point, this is when you would add your liquor, the 3 tablespoons of Kahlua or whatever you want to. You would add it right to your coffee. Okay. And this is what we're going to do. Get our lady fingers ready, and then we're gonna get an 8x8 glass baking dish. This is like one of the only recipes I use a glass baking dish for. We were just talking about this the other week on Mondays with Marc. And then we're going to take our lady fingers and we're going to dip them in our coffee, and we're going to make a layer all along the bottom here, breaking them apart and, you know, fitting them in as we need to. Now, we don't want to soak them. We just want to kind of down and up. That's all we want to do. And I'll put them like, oh, and we'll do it upside down like that. And then we'll just continue until we hit the bottom layer completely covers the bottom of our pan. There we go there, just like that. And now we're going to use half of our mixture, and we're just going to coat the top of it with our whipped cream and mascarpone cheese mixture. I'm OCD about this. I want them to face the same way. Okay, we're going to do another layer of our dipped lady fingers. All right, and then, of course, we're going to top this with the rest of our filling. Ooh. Ooh, gosh, I tell you, guys, you know what? This is in my top 10 favorite dessert list. Oh gosh, it is. I love some tiramisu. But all right, so now we're all covered there, like that. And finally, oh yes, now we're gonna dust the top with cocoa powder. Ah, yes. Nice, nice, nice. All right, let's see how easy that was to make. I mean, that was so easy. The next is a little test in patience, because now we have to let this chill, and we gotta let it chill for at least 3 or 4 hours, if not overnight. I'm telling you, it is the longer you leave it chill, the better it is. So we'll chill this baby. I'll cut a slice and show you, but really, that's all there is to it. And there you have it, our 80s inspired tiramisu. Oh! Tiramisu, anybody? Oh my goodness. You know we're gonna devour this tonight. Love me some tiramisu. Oh my gosh. So, the 1980s were definitely influential. It did have a particular impact on Gen Xers, many of whom came to age during that decade, as did I, I always say the 80s are my favorite decade of all, and they are. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, I came to in the 80s. It was an era of self-discovery for me. I came out in the 80s, I had my first girlfriend, my first boyfriend, my first car, my first job, a lot of firsts. Graduated high school, there were a lot of events in the 80s that I hold very, very dear to my heart. And when I do think back on the 80s as a decade, it really has a special place in my heart, and I know there's a few of you out there that can relate to the 80s like this. I know it, Oh my gosh, the jelly bracelets, how about those? And leg warmers were completely fashionable. I mean, it was so funny. And I mean, we only like scratched the surface of the 80s. I mean, gosh, pop culture, I was really into. I love the music from the 80s, still do today. We didn't even talk about getting physical with Olivia Newton-John, remember that? Oh, bless her. And well, there's so much more to the 80s than we were able to even get to tonight, But good thing for us, there's probably going to be more time warps in the future. I do like this segment. I really hope that you like these time warp videos. I think they're a lot of fun, and oh my gosh, what era are we going to go to next? What era would you like to see next? Let me know in the comments below. And maybe next month we'll do another time warp, okay? Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. It means the world to me. Definitely hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when we have a new video coming out. All of our contact information is listed right down below. That's our email address and our post office box for that snail mail. Check us out over on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Aw, thank you again. Thank you. I had a bodacious time tonight, y'all. I really, really did, totally. And I'm thinking oh my gosh, I hope you did too. All right, a little of that goes a long way, right? Seriously. No, I hope you had a really, really good time. You have a fantastic week, and I will see you next time, okay? Ciao, everybody.